morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me again for another Facebook Live. I'm sorry I missed you last week. It was for a very good reason. I was with my mom and dad in upstate New York and had a wonderful time. So I appreciate you letting my Facebook Live slide last week. I have to say, I was going to try to upload a video, and I couldn't have done it if I tried because it's a really rural area. It's a beautiful area, very rural area, and there's not a whole lot of internet access, especially for me with AT&T. It seems like they've got Verizon there, but since my husband works for AT&T, we are AT&T customers. Anyway, last night we had our Northern Lights class, and it was a really, really fun class. And I have to say, today is going to be very interesting because I honestly feel like maybe I haven't mastered the technique as much as I would like. Ruth was a wonderful teacher. I was a little preoccupied with going to work. I worked overnight tonight. I go to bed after this. I'm so excited. Anyway, this technique is really fun, and I think that not only can it be Northern Lights, but it could also be sunsets or sunrises, whatever you wanted. But one of my cards that I actually completed looks to me more like, I don't know, it to me looks like a foggy kind of sunrise. And I'll show you this a little bit more, but if you see the colors, it's just brilliant. I wish I had some shine to that yet, because you know me and glitter, my husband thinks I roll in it because it's always all over me. But anyway, so this is a beautiful card, and what I did was I sponged like a swiping sponge of Pineapple Punch across the middle, and then I did Melon Mambo on the side and kind of tried to blend it to make it a kind of a peachy orange color. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then this down here is Pacific Point. And now that I think about it, I don't think I have Pacific Point on my table. I see where it is though, so I'll grab it if I need it. But and that together with the yellow makes a nice green color. So I cut a mountain. Mine is very mountainous. I like the range that Ruth did. She did one that was a little bit, you can see this is kind of a template. What you do is you would put this over the bottom, and I'll show you that in a minute, and sponge, and that's where you get your mountain range from. So the smoother it is, the easier it is to actually put on your silhouettes. But anyway, so that was my card. This was another card that I did, and I actually felt pretty successful with this one too. I don't know if any of you have seen the Northern Lights. I did. I have to say I didn't see a lot of pink when I saw the Northern Lights. We were driving to my parents in upstate New York again. This was probably 20 years ago. The sky was all lit up. It was amazing. It was green. It was kind of swirling. It was absolutely beautiful. And I pointed out to my husband, he just about drove off the road. Luckily he didn't, but because in upstate New York, because of the size snow banks that they have in the winter, their snow ditches are quite deep. So that wouldn't have been a pretty thing. But anyway, we got home to my parents, got them out of bed and said, "You gotta see this, it's fantastic. You gotta see the Northern Lights." And they're like, we'd rather go to bed. So funny story, true, seriously. But anyway, so I saw the yellow and green. I know that if you go to Alaska, like they did with a cruise last year, you could probably see it. I have a friend that went to Iceland and saw it, and they were beautiful. So any place where you go northern hemisphere, you can really get a great glimpse of it. I'm sure my upline, her son, lives in Edmonton. I'm sure he gets to see it all the time. But anyway, so I don't know exactly what they look like, but I do know that they're always different. They're never the same. You never know if you're going to see yellow or green or pink. It's just kind of out there, and it's really, really cool. So anyway, I did a couple of techniques just to show you what I did. This one, I actually was trying to do something a little bit different, and I sponged pink in the corner, and then I tried yellow from the top corner, and then kind of blending it in the middle. Now what I shouldn't have done was brought the purple down in the side here. The purple, which was actually Pacific Point, stamped or sponged over the Melon Mambo. So, oh, and I have to tell you before I start, if you're going to do this before you get your nails done, not after you get your nails done, because it is a really messy technique. Have some wipes handy. You're going to need them. Lots of scratch paper. But anyway, so this one is yellow sponge down, and then what you do once you've sponged, and I'm going to show you, but it's like a swipey sponge. You don't sponge like you normally would sponge in that nice circular motion. You actually swipe it up to sponge and get that technique. So it looks kind of flowy. I can't think of the term right now. I probably will think of it while I'm sleeping in the middle of the day today. But anyway, so then you sponge the Night of Navy around the edge, and then you actually do your mountaintop, and the mountaintop again is sponged with that with Memento and the mountain range that you create with your scrap paper to cover that. And then you can stamp anything you want in there. And I'm actually going to stamp, this is what we chose last night. A great one to use with this is Silhouette Scenes. And Silhouette Scenes, as you can see, has really dark prints. And I'm thinking you could do anything. I actually think I'm going to change the one that I have here because I like it. One looks like he's looking, well, they both kind of look like they're looking through the telescope, but I like the one where he's looking closer. So I think I'm going to change that guy. But anyway, I'm going to do that on the Stamparatus. And the reason you do it on the Stamparatus is because you want to make sure that it's really well inked. One layer of Memento isn't going to do it. You're going to have to do 2, sometimes 3, maybe even 4 if your ink is not that wet. So we'll do that. So that's a great one. And then another thing that we did, we cut out a tree. I have one here. You can see this great tree. And this tree is also from the Silhouette Scenes. This is from the dies. So this is from the dies that go with that stamp set, which is really great. And I'm thinking even this one would probably be cool, but it doesn't really look like Northern Lights. So I'll probably use that for something else. Anyway, then I was looking at some other stamp sets that I have, and another stamp set that would look great with this is this one, Enjoy Life. Again, silhouettes, nice and dark. One thing that Ruth did for a card that she made, she stamped the woman from Beautiful You. It must be the one with the long flowy dress. She stamped that, but then she cut around it so that it was a silhouette. And she saved the outside of the paper that she had cut the girl out of, and then she sponged inside, so it was a nice solid figure, and it was beautiful. So there's all kinds of options. But anyway, I'm so glad you joined me today. I'm so glad for everybody that joined me in class last night. If you want to learn how to do this technique, stay tuned. I'm going to do my best, and if I have a problem, I am going to direct you to Ruth's Facebook page where she can probably answer you. Maybe I should even have her do the video sometime, but I know she's running in all different directions right now. But Ruth is the technique guru for me. She's my helper. She's actually my sideline, but she's the best asset to my stamping room. So anyway, without further ado, let me flip you, and I'm going to see what comes up. What I'd like you to do for me is, if you enjoy this video, and maybe even if you don't, but just to do me a favor, share the video, like the video, and share the video to your timeline. And once again, you never know what you're going to get in the mail from me. So I sent out some goodies last week. I have some more to go out this week. But anyway, here we go. I'm going to flip you. I'm so sorry if this makes you dizzy, okay? Oh my, it's a little bit different. There we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here, before I get my paper all dirty, you see my August host code. And just a little heads up, it's tax-free weekend in Massachusetts this coming weekend, probably in some other states too. But if you use this host code, you'll get a gift from me with every $50 order, or for a $50 plus order, I should say. Use this host code. The other thing that you have to remember is use those bonus coupons, because everybody probably has bonus coupons that they want to use, and now's the time to use them when it's tax-free. It'll almost be like getting free shipping. Okay. So here we go. Let me see what I can do here. So here is the first card that I just shared with you. And I am going to still put this on my thing. And I apologize if I'm a little scattered. I just got home from work, walked the dogs, and came right downstairs. And I'm still kind of winging it, trying to figure out what to share and how to share it best. So anyway, these are the trees from Waterfront. Love that stamp set, and you could probably do something else with that too. I'm even thinking the sun would be nice, because to me this doesn't look as much like Northern Lights as it does a beautiful sunrise. Look at this though, and I have to share, this is not mine, this is actually Ruth's, but look at this. Oh, you can see my hands, they're covered with ink already. So what she did was she sponged Melon Mambo, and like I said, and what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of sponge, and you want a relatively large piece of sponge. Here we go. I cut up a new sponge, I cut it into quarters. So that's all ready to go. And she used Melon Mambo here, and then Pacific Point in that direction. And your technique is just literally going like this. And you just keep swiping it. Once you ink, you kind of stamp off and then swipe again. So that's the technique there. I shouldn't be messing up her beautiful card, but that's the technique. All you're doing is kind of swiping. And you'd start heavier at the edge and at the, almost like a flicking motion. At least that's the kind of the technique I had last night. Okay, so let me show you this card. And this one was a little bit different. So I haven't, this one I'm going to show you stamped. And like I said, I think I want to, no, that is the guy I want to put there. Okay. I was thinking it was something else, but that is the guy I want. So we're going to put these guys on the Stamparatus. And what we're going to do is ink up our people here. And I better make sure I am not a very good example. I rarely remember to use my magnet. So it's being very magnetic today. Okay, here we go. I don't want to get this, I want this to come down just a little bit. So I'm just showing you, this is the beginning of the card. I've already done the sponging there. So I'm going to show you that part, and then I'm going to actually show you how I sponged it in the next step, in the next card. So let me get that right here. There we go. Okay. Yeah, they're kind of up in the air. I would probably re-sponge with something, but anyway, let me ink these guys up nice and wet, and they're going to be, wow. And then you know what I'm going to do, since I do have her kind of up in the air? I'm going to put her feet a little bit, I'm going to sponge a little bit more black here, because I really do want her feet to be touching the ground. Okay, so that's me sponging. Okay, pretty close, except anyway, I kind of ruined it a little bit because I made a mark when I was with my paper here, because it was probably a little wet yet. But anyway, here you have what I did was I sponged with yellow and blue and pink. And then I took the edge of the ink pad, and when I say the edge, I mean really the edge. You're going to use the edge away from this label, and you're going to just swipe it, and just a little bit. And what I will probably do is put a little bit of trees there on each side, because isn't that pretty? So I'll show you that card later, probably after I've slept a little bit. But the other thing one more thing I wanted to show you, and I'm going to put this out of the way for a second, is how you get the stars. If you're going to consider this Northern Lights, you've got to see this technique. It's really cool. Now, I hope I do it justice. So what I'm going to do first is take my embossing buddy, and I'm really going to make sure, I promise I'm going to show you the technique yet, but I just want to show you this. Really dry this up. And what I'm going to do is take my stylus, and this is from my scoring tool, and we're just going to do dots. And I'm using the fat end first, just a couple of dots. And then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to use the smaller end, a couple more dots. And I can't see where I'm stamping, so this is going to be interesting. But, so what I'm going to do next is sprinkle a little bit of white embossing powder on here. I've got too much on the table. Anyway, what I would do next is sprinkle a little bit of white embossing powder on here. And then I'm going to just sprinkle, I'm going to do it off, get rid of the excess. And then I'm going to sprinkle just a little tiny bit, and I'm going to heat from underneath. And I wish I could show you this. I'm so sorry. I don't know where I put my embossing powder. I had everything in a thing, and it's probably on the other side of the room. So anyway, that's how you'd get the star look. And I can't wait to show you that because it was really beautiful. I'm so sorry I'm a little scattered here. Okay, so let's just get right to this technique here. What I'm going to do, I think I'm going to use, what you need first is a little bit of snail. And I'm going to attach this to my paper. I'm going to actually do it on here. Okay, a little bit of snail. And I'm going to take, I'm actually going to try Flirty Flamingo this time. I don't know. No, I'm not. I'm going to do Melon Mambo. And what I'm going to do is start in the corner. Let's use this sponge. Like I said, you want a nice big sponge. Now I'm stamping off because I really don't want too much, and I'm going to go like this. And then I can do more. I can add more ink, but stamp off again. You want it really, really fine. You can add more, but it's hard to take away once it's too heavy. So you're just swiping. You're not doing like the normal. I'm just swiping. This is the pink. And then because I tend to swipe in this direction the best because I'm right-handed, what I'm going to do for the next step, so this isn't as much the Northern Lights as, I don't know, this might be a nice sunset by the time I finish, but okay, let me go to the yellow next, and I'm going to close up this pink because I know my habits of all of a sudden I'm going to get carried away and the pink sponge is going to go in the yellow, or the yellow is going to go in the pink, but okay. Yes, we're going to use yellow. Okay, so I'm going to go like this. Actually, I'm going to try something different. I haven't done one except to practice with the blue. So let's do the blue. So I have my Pacific Point here. We're going to do Pacific Point. And then you're going to see this beautiful purple coming together. Okay, so once again, you don't want too, and the blue is easy to be too heavy, so maybe I'm better this way. Now that I think about it, it looks better swiping towards me than away with this blue for some reason. And I will be able to cover up that blue with either a tree or a mountain or something. So I'm not too worried about that yet. So all I'm doing is swiping. And you really want a light hand. And see how now I'm going into the pink a little bit and it's turning kind of a purple. I never know how this is going to turn out, so I kind of was a little reluctant to do it today because I feel like I would have liked to have practiced it some more, but I want you guys to see this and have fun doing it because it's really not hard. All you need is sponges, a couple of nice bright colors. I'm going to add some more. And then if you want those stars, a stylus, some embossing powder, your embossing buddy, and a heat tool. So I was going to show you that, but like I said, I don't know where my thing went. So I don't like it that it's that dark down at the bottom. So maybe I'll just make it darker here. But I kind of want to, I'm kind of forgetting my rule, and I really want to do a light touch and flick and there we go. We can always add more. And you know what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to this pink. I'm going to add a little bit more pink. And that light feathery touch is the best way. And you see how it meets in the middle and makes a nice purple. I'm going to do another one with a yellow, and you're going to see that, but let me just show you this. So what I need to do next is I'm going to take a sponge and my navy ink, my Night of Navy ink, and really what I'm going to do is, this is kind of the traditional sponging. I'm going to kind of do it in the corners. I'm going to do the blue, and that's what's going to kind of make it look like a night sky. So I've got my, concentrate on the corners especially, but you know what? This one, I'm not going to do it in this corner, I don't think. But, and then on the inside, you just kind of swipe again. Do more swiping with the blue on the inside, kind of. And we're going to see what we're going to do with this, but I will put some mountains on here again because I can. Just this nice, I could probably, actually, you can do every direction because it's nice and feathery. Okay, so that's good enough for the blue. I could probably be darker, but I want to show you the general technique. And now I'm going to take my black sponge with my Memento ink, and I'm going to do some mountains down here. And just sponge like you would normally sponge. And you're going to need a lot of ink to cover up that bright pink, so just keep going over it. Keep dabbing and rubbing and dabbing and rubbing. So that's that. It really is a cool technique, I have to say. Okay, and then I'll put something in the corner. I guess it does kind of need some more Night of Navy on the side there. It doesn't look quite like a night sky, so let me do a little bit more of that. I keep forgetting that I'm supposed to be kind of feathering it in, but you kind of get the idea. So that here is going to be something, and I don't know what that is going to be on here, but I'm going to use one of my stamp sets. I may use my Girl from Enjoy Life on there. We'll see. So stay tuned for that. I will post that in my group, which is Paper Crafting with Jeannie, if you're part of that group, and I'll also post some samples in my page. But let's go to the next one. Now this paper is 3 3/4 by 5 inches, just to let you know. And then we'll mat it. I don't know if that's enough tape or not, but let's do this traditional one. So what I'm going to do is take my yellow and I'm going to go, I almost seem to have better luck pulling towards me than pushing away, but, and we're going to do just a nice center of the yellow. Whole thing is going to be yellow. Now, if you wanted to, you could use sponge daubers for this as well. But full disclosure, I'm not a fan of the sponge daubers. I did it yesterday and mine came out kind of blotchy. And if you know the sponge daubers, they're little circles. And I could see all the little circles. It's really hard to do a nice even swipe with that. It really, really is. It ends up being blotchy. I think because it's so thin and such a concentrated area. And with sponge daubers, you're really doing something circular. And with the way I did it, you know, with the way this works, it works better doing the feathering, you know, here, let's go like this. So now once again, I'm getting it close to the yellow, and I'm now already getting a peachy color there. And I would go back over the yellow probably still. I don't know, Ruth, if she was here right now, she might say lighter touch, I'm not sure. But it does look kind of nice and feathered, so I think we're doing good. So I apologize, Ruth, if I'm not doing your thing justice. Okay, maybe I'm gonna do, okay, I will do the blue again on this one. And I think you could do all different colors. I'm doing blue, but you could do, definitely do, just making sure. One of these is Pacific Point and one is navy. I think that's more navy. Okay, so let's do this one. You could do blueberry bushel. You could do all different colors. I'm thinking my pink could even be different. I was thinking for a while of doing petal pink. Oh, now that is working better. Now, if I didn't want to, and I may do one more just for the fun of it, look at that. That is cool. It's coming out kind of like a rainbow. This is what I intended it. I think I just found my technique. I do better pulling towards me than anything. Okay, and I'm going to put a little bit more pink there. And then I may still grab a little bit more yellow. But supposedly, suppose you didn't want to do this diagonal. I mean, who says you have to? You could swipe out and kind of like, almost like a spotlight idea. I'm going to try the next one sideways because I haven't done that yet. But what I'm going to do, okay, here we go. Now, if I bring this back into the ink pad, I'm going to stamp off first because I might have some yellow and blue on there. So, and I don't want that. That's kind of cool. Okay, so that's a nice rainbow effect. And then once again, what I'm going to do is stamp or sponge my navy around the edge. And I'm going to do this one a little bit heavier because I really do want this to be dramatic. So, is this the blue? I'm not sure which one is which. One is navy and one is, I usually mark mine by, okay, let's see. By going in a little bit, it makes the sky more purple now. So isn't that cool too? So not only is it a night sky, it's kind of a purple color in there as well, brought into that rainbow Northern Lights effect. So if you wanted to find this, you can look up Northern Lights and get your own inspiration off the internet, not from other cards, but I'm talking about actual photos of the Northern Lights. And okay, I'll show you what I'm going to do with that later. Let's try one more really quick, because you're probably anxious to get on with your day, and I am anxious to get to bed. We're going to do this. I just want to do one more. And I think what I'm going to do is yellow and blue with this. Oh, did I do yellow and blue? Yeah, I'm going to do yellow and blue. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do it across. Sorry, Ruth, this is probably not how I'm supposed to do it, but it actually is doing a good job of feathering for me, so I'm going to do it this way, I think. Okay, that's the yellow. Actually, let me do a little bit more. And then I think I'm going to use this for my waterfront card. I'm going to use some trees from waterfront, and maybe even the mountains, and maybe even put a sun there. So maybe the Northern Lights is actually going to be more like a sunset. I am going to use a different color here. I'm going to have to cut up my sponge. Okay, I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo here. And I have no idea how this is going to work out, so. I guess it's not that dramatic. But I could bring some orange in here if I wanted to. I'm going to have to work on that one. But see how I'm doing it lightly? I at least am getting that down. I'm doing it lightly. Now you can emboss some clouds in here if you wanted to, or do whatever you wanted with this. But this is eventually going to be, I think it's going to be a sunset card, but we will show you that later. But so now that you've seen this, this is kind of the general idea. You sponge around the edges with the navy, and then you make your own pattern for the mountains. If you want mountains, I think mountains are the best. You could do just one hill. You could make it, I don't know, this would be harder, but you could use the grass from this and put it across the bottom as well. And I may try one with that. But so you've got this one. This is one that I did. This is one that I'm going to try to finish today. This is one that I've done, and that's the blue with the pink. This was the finished card that I showed you. This is probably the closest to Northern Lights, but to me, all of these look more like sunsets. What I am going to do next is do one with yellow and blue, because I'm telling you that to me is what the Northern Lights look like. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to play some more, and I'd love it if you guys tried this. Let me flip you back. I hope you guys got to see me at work and I wasn't out of the picture, but I'm so glad that you guys were able to watch. And if you haven't watched yet, you've got all the time in the world, because I'm going to post this to the page. I'm going to save it. And like I said, I'd love it if you shared it. And I hope you have a wonderful day. And if you get a chance to see the Northern Lights for real, take a picture and see if you can imitate it in a card. Love you guys. See you next week. Next week may be recorded because I do have company again. Last week of summer. But love you anyway. Bye.